The satisfying downfall of Illuminati. For real this time, guys. This is the most recent video from Internet Anarchists. It's from a month ago. I believe this is going to be another summary of just the recent events. I think I'll do an even deeper dive after we see this. But yeah, let's get started.
5 months ago, I published a video titled
Because she
How
seems a
Illuminaughtii
little
Ended Her Career in
nuts.
7 Seconds, where I discussed the disgusting and predatory behavior of a once
God.
respected YouTuber, Iilluminaughtii. But things
Like, I'm not a super confrontational person, so when I hear other YouTubers say something like that, I'm like, oh gosh, like, aren't you nervous? Like, I would be nervous that she would say something. That's how simple I am. I'm not
have
brave
since
at
got
all.
a whole lot worse. So bad
Props
that
to
she's
him.
resorted to sending out legal threats and even personally censoring me. But
Yeah. Oh.
I won't be silenced.
Huh?
Hi, I'm the Internet
Wait,
Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries.
That's what I'm talking
Today,
about
we'll
right
be
there. It's
dropping
like,
the
ooh.
content nuke on Iilluminaughtii, a million sub YouTuber who managed to hit rock bottom and dig herself even deeper.
Oh my God.
To get a clear understanding.
The problem with like retaliating at all with a channel like this is that they're just gonna come harder at you. Like, they don't play games. Like, they're just gonna make another video that's even more accurate and damning. It's like, oh God.
Standing on the recent developments in Blair's downfall, we first have to take a look at her latest targets for legal abuse, her ex-boyfriend, Oz Media. On the 16th of September 2023, following a cease and desist letter, Oz would upload a video titled, Let's Talk, an update on Illuminaughtii drama. A video that was intended to give viewers further context about his upcoming
do wanna see that
3-hour-long
video.
video on Blair, as well as recording her ongoing efforts to ruin his life.
First
Oh,
and foremost,
man.
I need to make everyone aware,
Sucks.
for reasons that I hope this update will make clear, for my safety, I need to put a short and temporary pause on production of my video on Illuminaughtii. The video will still, of course, be produced. I
That's
just
3
need
hours
to put
long?
things on a lower burn and return to regular content for the time being, for many reasons. Some of them being the honest truth that I can't afford to continue at this rate, both fiscally and physically.
The first quarter of the video was spent on recounting events that led him, members of Sad Milk, and Blair to the predicament that they now found themselves in. He also explained his need to continue posting other forms of content to support himself
Okay.
while gathering information on Blair's past.
Totally fine,
I put a lot
understandable.
of things in my life on hold to produce this video, ending up with nearly 110
Whoa.
pages of a manuscript which details as much of what
Wow.
I can. And let me tell
Oh
you
my
something.
God.
Converting this monstrosity into a video with its
Wow.
accompanying 1,000 screenshots has been one hell of a monumental task
Wow.
for me, a one-person team to embark on. As a quick note, Blair's name is not on any of the original documents related to my home. I'm providing all of this information to give full context to the GoFundMe, as I feel it's more than deserved, as honestly, I would feel guilty as hell putting the video on pause shortly after it hit its funding goal, followed by me just continuing to upload regular content without warning.
Oz went on to present some shocking details about his relationship
Seems like an honest
with Blair,
person.
and methods of manipulation that she used not just to gain control over his home, but his entire life as well. Even though these are allegations, they followed Blair's tendency to take advantage of other people. And the fact Oz acknowledged that his video could end up in a courtroom.
Yeah, like, okay, in my opinion, if like one person says something, okay, it could definitely be debated. If two say something, well, okay, we need to look at the context. It could be debated, but like, it's like 4, 5, 6, and like 10, and then more and more, and your fans too. It's like, if everyone says something about you, then it's probably not far from the truth, at least, you know?
Room leads credibility to his message. According to Oz, at the start of their relationship, Blair coerced him into taking on several poor financial decisions, like co-signing loans with her and paying a deposit for a custom multi-million-dollar home. Blair was exploiting this good credit score for her own selfish gain, and in the process ruined it, which eventually put Oz in
That
debt.
sucks.
I'm 23, almost 24. In the beginning,
so
Blair walked
young.
me into several poor financial decisions. My naivety caused me to believe her reassurances that I could handle all of the financial obligations
That
being dropped
sucks.
onto my shoulders by someone more experienced in life than I was. Why?
That sucks. It's like, it's not typically something you teach people, that like, make sure that, you know, you don't sign. I mean, I've heard this before, like, don't sign anything with anyone, any contracts, but it's like, I don't think it's really pushed on people enough to learn that people can just deceive you. They really can. And once you're in a contract like that, you can't really just get out of it. Oh man, and he's so
And these
young.
obligations were placed onto me. At the time, Blair had bad credit. So all of the purchases, loans, everything
Which
was
should tell
being
you
placed
something,
in my name.
by the
This
way.
included the car that she purchased, then revoked from
It means she didn't pay her bills anyways.
I was on the loan as a co-signer only because of my credit at the time. Eventually though, the financial responsibilities that I incurred would stack up on me, building a mountain of monthly debt that would lead me into several financially tight months and eventually just breaking. This would lead me to asking Blair, my partner, for financial help for things such as my home, which she was living in, help from my partner, who at any given time would be making up to 30 times my monthly income. These amounts of assistance would be added to a ledger of debt. And I want to clarify again, Blair wasn't my bank.
So she wrote
wasn't
everything
my
down?
landlord. She was my partner at this time.
Blair not only devastated Oz's credit score, but also sought to extend her influence over his life. She wanted to have complete control over Oz, and the debt she created was only one part of her cruel plan. Blair isolated Oz by spreading gossip about
You
his
know what? That's a really good way to control someone. If they've signed something with you, ooh, that's so bad. And if she already has bad credit, she doesn't care that much about what the repercussions are going to be.
Situation with everyone they knew, and even convinced him to be grateful for the quote assistance he received from her. Once Oz's debt to Blair had grown to almost $180,000, he decided to start working for both her main channel and crypto farm in order to have any hope of repaying the loan. This led Oz to abandon his own channel in service of Blair's, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough.
I avoided telling anyone who could have helped me see what was happening out of fear of further confirmation. More eyes looking down on me. Something to note, when you're around Blair, your world revolves around her. In my case, my home was hers, despite her name not being on it. I had no friends out in Colorado, a state that I moved to at the behest of Blair. Only Blair's friends were out here. All of my connections had to be approved by her. I wasn't allowed to be friends with people she didn't like, such as Click and One Topic, or even Wonder, once that bridge was burned and reduced to cinders. I was even in a position where my finances were nearly entirely controlled by her, from what debts I took on to later being the fact that she was the person who signed my paychecks. All while my world was painted to me in a light where I should be grateful for her generosity.
By December of 2022,
she was probably thrilled that he wanted to work for her.
Of Oz's predicament and convinced him to sign a document that was far from being in his best interests.
When I was 23 and Blair was nearly 31, Blair, with her lawyer, would create an honestly quite confusing legal document for me to sign where I would agree to pay back her debt. Blair, being the person who signed my checks, knew that I couldn't afford legal representation. Blair also knew that the $2,500 that she was having me pay monthly towards that debt was almost as much as I was making monthly working for her. This would mean that I could barely pay for anything else in my life other than the debt that I owed her. Everything I made working for her was going right back into her pocket. Blair would bring me to her lawyer's office, put me in a room alone with the two of them, with papers in front of me. Papers which I foolishly signed for a myriad of reasons, ranging from Blair expressing that this would mend our relationship, that it was the right thing for me to do, that this would also protect her legally and prevent her from getting into trouble with the IRS. She also would describe to me, and while I can't remember if this exact word was ever used, she essentially explained to me that because she used company funds to assist me, that she had committed embezzlement. And by converting the amount that I owed her into a loan with her company, this would save her skin legally.
In the 3 years that they spent together, Blair orchestrated the demise of Oz's credit history, isolated him from his support network, and got him to sign away whatever chance he had from escaping her prison of debt. Even though things seemed bleak, there's still a silver lining. Prior to uploading this video, Oz set up a GoFundMe to help pay for living expenses while he created his documentary on Blair and covered the inevitable legal fees that he would face in his battle to keep his home. As of this recording, Oz has surpassed his funding goals and currently sits at $24,000
Aw,
raised.
good for him.
Considering the details
That's
on
great.
Blair's alleged crimes that Oz intended to share, it only made sense that she would try to cripple him financially, just like what she did with Wonderstruck. Blair feels threatened by Oz and is more than desperate to keep him quiet while she frames herself
So she does
as
this
being
with
the victim.
others.
With Discord screenshots reading, "The worst part, honestly, is that Oz worked
May
for me,
22nd.
worked with a team, and he knew that doing this would hurt their livelihoods. Like, you want to be a bitter ex that's mad I moved on and found love? Fine, go to therapy.
That's literally
Doing
not
this
the
to get back
issue.
at me or punishing me for leaving him? It's insane. I still cared about him. I didn't realize he was the one masterminding this. He's mainly doing it because he owes me almost $200,000 that he took from me.
He didn't take it from you. You gave it to him. But okay.
Like, goddamn, we broke up
that
at the end of
implies stealing.
2021-ish, and when I finally started to see someone new in January, he broke into my computer and read through my Discord DMs to find messages. He found them, lost his shit, told my employees I, quote, cheated, and told them the channel is going to fall apart in a couple of months and to look for new jobs. He plotted this from the start, with a brainwashed member of the Discord server saying, "Wow, that's psychotic."
Well, they
These
didn't
are
know what
leaked
else to
screenshots
say.
from
They
Blair's
said
private
3
Discord
words to it.
server from a user by the name of FPS Diesel, and they perfectly picture Blair's need to bend the truth in order to satisfy her own ego, even if she was the one that lied, manipulated, and used someone else that she previously called a partner. As horrible as that might sound, this isn't the first time Blair abused her boyfriend, as the one that came before Oz suffered an equally terrible fate. On the
Oh
6th
my
of
gosh,
June
people stop dating her.
2023, a YouTuber by the name of Swoop released a documentary
Yes, we love
that brought to
Swoop.
light one of Blair's previous relationships
I didn't
that
see
went
that video
unnoticed during
yet.
recent times. But in
I only saw her Colleen stuff. But she's fantastic.
retrospect, foreshadowed many of the patterns of abuse and manipulation that we've seen recently. According to the allegations and information from the interview that Swoop conducted, Blair and a retired YouTuber named Azothan dated for around 2 years and 6 months. While things were relatively pleasant at the start, it was only a matter of time before Blair began to show her true colors. During the relationship, Blair would, quote, take me to Vegas to confess her love, but had a backup ticket to send me home that night if I didn't reciprocate, unquote. Once the pair had settled in together,
Wow.
Blair would attempt to control his life even further, as she, quote, demand I spend my time exclusively playing Dark Souls 3 with her in my free time. Any attempt to go out to parties, karaoke, or just make any social and emotional ties other than her were met with punishment, unquote. The punishment that Azothan was
I
referring
see.
to took the form of Blair verbally abusing him, ignoring him for weeks while she went off to a party with other men she met on Snapchat, and then
What? Okay. It's already crazy behavior, but if you don't do that yourself, it's even worse. Like, at least you could use the excuse of, well, I'm doing it, so why can't you? But it's like, no, she's gonna go party with the dudes.
and alluding to all the, quote,
Wow.
fun she had without him when they resumed contact. At some point, Blair promised to do a collab video with Azothan, since she had a much larger audience that could help increase his reach on YouTube. Sadly, when it was time to follow through on those promises, Azothan was met with some serious pushback.
What I'm saying is that I was angry about the
What?
fact that you were the one who proposed a collaboration, and then as soon as I was ready and put all this effort into it, you just kind of shut me down. It just seemed...
So it had nothing to do with the
That's
fact that I go,
messed
oh,
up.
I'm moving, I'm busy, I'm doing every single day. The only thing you had to ask me is, when are we collabing? When are we collabing? When are we collabing? And it's like, oh, you're treating me like a fan, Blair. I'm like, well, perhaps you should have stopped acting like one.
You want to say you don't attack me, but then you straight up
Oh
fucking
my
call me a
God.
liar over things that you are no 100% true. I'm done with it. I'm done with you.
Because God knows why, because you're bitter about a breakup because your cash cow left you. Like,
By this point, their relationship was over, but Blair's
Wow.
abrasive attitude towards Azothan wasn't the only contributing factor. Before they broke up, Blair had an obsession with taking down 2 particular creators that were growing faster than her and made similar Reddit-based content. From the 19th to the 23rd of April 2019, in 2 now-deleted videos, Azothan addressed Blair's efforts to destroy
I'm
the
kinda
reputation of a
speechless.
competitor named Miserybox, even using the ensuing controversy to boost her own YouTube
Wow. She really has to attack other people that are just doing their own thing, that are similar to her because they're competitors.
metrics.
That's so
It's important to call out bullying, lying,
crazy.
doxing, and threats. Unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that Illuminaughtii has engaged in all of these behaviors. I feel that I must state up
Crazy.
front that for the last 2.5 years, I was involved in a romantic relationship with the YouTuber known as Illuminaughtii. This relationship ended recently, and while none of the facts stated here are related to that association, it would be
What
dishonest for
happened
me
to
not
him?
to
He's
state
still
this
around,
immediately.
right?
He continued by explaining Blair's motivation for attacking another creator, as well as her slow descent into obsession that eroded their already weakening relationship. When confronted with the harsh reality of her own actions, Blair defaulted to throw Azothan under the bus in order to save her own skin.
And I asked you a simple yes or no question. Were you talking ill of me to other content creators? I even said I didn't think you were. It was just...
The answer is no.
I don't understand.
But now
I dodged it.
Now it might change to a yes because now I'm gonna have to protect my ass.
Another point worth noting is that during Blair's quest to tarnish Miserybox's image, she took audio assets from his former Discord mods and refused to credit them. She even went as far as threatening them if they spoke out about it. If you stood in Blair's way, didn't give her what she wanted, or called her out on her borderline psychotic behavior, she would use any and every method possible to get her perverse revenge, even if it meant using past trauma against you. Quoting,
"Girl,
Blair
you
and
have
I
to
had a
try and
phone
hide
call
that,
where
at
she told me
least."
that I was beneath her, that I was always going to be mediocre, and that she was better than that. About her calling me mediocre and a burden, those words were the exact ones I used 5 months before when I attempted to... From the revelation...
Oh my gosh. I mean, it was already bad enough. Now it's a new level of terrible. Wow. That's so... I just can't even...
Revelations during the Sad Milk controversy to the strikingly similar allegations brought forward
so
by
sad.
Blair's ex-boyfriends, it seems like it doesn't matter who she has to hurt or what lies she has to spread, as long as she has something to gain from it. Manipulating and then discarding friends or colleagues once they'd outlived their usefulness.
Yeah.
For a time, that strategy worked out pretty effectively for her, as she ruthlessly dominated the MLM niche and made millions in ad revenue. Tragically, what goes up must come down, and currently, Blair's Machiavellian
It was
empire
bound to
has
happen.
certainly come crashing down. Following the many allegations stacked against Illuminaughti's brand, Blair's only remaining friend group, the Leftist Mafia, severed all ties with her on their latest podcast appearances.
Oh, it's a name of a channel?
You can't do this to people and then just not respond. Like, there needs to be accountability, there needs to be an apology, and like, I believe in restorative justice, but in my opinion,
I don't know. How many apologies can you give for that? It's like, she's already apologized to Legal Eagle. Okay. Probably because Legal Eagle is a big channel, you know. It's similar to hers. So it's like she kind of it's almost like maybe she was forced to. These other people, I mean, I guess not having as big of a channel doesn't make anyone's worth any different, but according to her, it does. So it's easier to attack them. And when we're talking about apologizing, it's like, would we really believe it at this point?
Blair has not even started to take those steps for restorative justice. She hasn't, I genuinely don't even know if she thinks that what she did is wrong.
Yeah.
On the 26th of July 2023, an anti-MLM creator, iCruelWorld Happy Mind, further expanded on her own unpleasant experiences with Blair in a video titled The Fall of Iilluminaughtii, YouTube's biggest bully.
Wow.
I am sorry that I was ever friends with you.
Did you see Legal Eagle was accused of plagiarism by another YouTuber called Iilluminaughtii?
I can completely understand why she would be compared to Creepshow Art after this situation.
She went from seeming to be petty to seeming to be outright malicious and full-on evil.
This is a perpetual onslaught of accusations backed by convincing evidence by the people who knew her best.
She outlined Blair's slander campaign against her as she was going through a very stressful pregnancy, something that Blair was very much so aware of, attacking her at the slightest opportunity for pointing out similarities in video topics covered.
I was terrified of losing my baby. The doctors were just urging me to stay healthy and limit my stress. And then all of a sudden, I end up in one of the most stressful dramas I have ever experienced, where someone is trying to ruin my career and attack me online. And
that is horrible. She's also clearly attacking people at their weak points. Like, everyone has weak points, and she definitely pokes those. And of course, being pregnant, she probably jumped on that. That's so
feels like
messed
they
up.
have so much more power than I have that there is nothing I can do about it.
Cruel World Happy Mind wasn't the only anti-MLM creator that came out with allegations of Blair's misconduct and content theft.
And we had multiple group chats full of other creators, other people who weren't even creators, who were just like really into researching MLM stuff. Like we had a lot of people behind the scenes.
She's just harassing everyone.
A bunch of stuff, for lack of a better term. And one of the group chats I was in was also the group chat that had like all the mods to a Facebook group that we had called Boo Is Woo. And they one day sent a message to the group chat and was like, by the way, just so you guys know, Blair / Illuminaughti's writer just requested to join the group. I denied them. And obviously, literally the reason why, and because I think she even says it in the messages, I sent you the screenshots, but I'm pretty sure she straight up was like, after what she did to Madison, like, we don't want to help Blair. We don't want anything to do with her. Like,
what do you want to bet she kind of asked them to join it or something like that? Like they were just trying to dig up info.
Too hard on this.
Yeah.
At this point, I'd have been like already scripting my deep dive for a week or two, maybe. Like, I mean, just kind of organizing everything, like so
and
much.
It's more so just knowing that she probably was not going to credit you guys like properly.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah.
Blair didn't stop there and copied information from Savannah's Olive Tree video a few weeks later. While all these and many more allegations were being put forward, Blair's channel had rightfully been withering away. In addition to the massive 330,000 subscribers lost, the average video on her channel only gets about 20k views. And on closer inspection, it seems like she's been deleting comments that reference her downfall. The decline in engagement is rather ironic when you realize that Blair's channel is about to be surpassed by The Click, a creator that she once tried to destroy in every metric possible: average viewership, sub count, and channel engagement. To make matters worse, users on Twitter have begun informing Blair's sponsors of her misconduct. At Mint Mobile, you need to drop Iilluminaughtii from your sponsors list. She has done things that aren't becoming of your brand.
Ooh,
and
see, that's what happens too. Man, you get your fans super mad at you. They'll go everywhere to try and keep you from your sponsors, and oh my gosh.
Shouldn't want
They'll
her
find
to
you
represent
everywhere.
you, as well as another screenshot showing someone reaching out to ExpressVPN, who they themselves stated that they wouldn't be working with her anymore. In the past,
ExpressVPN works with everyone
at least
too.
one sponsorship. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Only a select few of her recent uploads feature a sponsor, and the rest include Blair promoting her Patreon subscription. Speaking of Patreon, Blair has steadily been losing paid subscribers since the controversy began back in April. Money was always something that Blair would do anything to get, and now it seems like she's losing it by the truckload.
She didn't
her
have to
viewership
either.
has plummeted to record lows, sponsors are dropping her, and now she's bleeding Patreon members on a daily basis. Blair built her pyramid-shaped empire on the backs of her closest friends and fellow creators, while also harshly censoring them when they tried to speak up. She weaponized her influence and subscriber base to bully others into getting whatever her heart desired, and felt no remorse for doing so. It was this exact lack of remorse and overinflated ego that led her to pick a fight with Legal Eagle, which ended up giving her past victims the courage to speak out.
Dude, like, the problem is you're attacking a bigger channel that hasn't done anything. That's a bigger channel. You're crazy. But I mean, obviously attacking the smaller channels is really screwed up and horrible and mean and cruel and all those words. It's like, yeah, it's messed up, but you're crazy even to attack someone with a good reputation who's just as big or bigger than you for nothing. It was nothing.
It started with The Click, then Wonderstruck, all the way to Oz
I think she
Media.
just wants
Creators
control
that she
over
stole
everything.
From like Cruel World Happy Mind and Savannah Marie made their voices heard. All it took was Blair making one impulsive tweet that pulled back the curtains on her dark past. Abusing her power was Blair's blueprint for getting ahead on YouTube.
It's all
but it was
her
also
fault.
the reason for her downfall. Now, the channel that she spent years cultivating is a shadow of its former self. And there's still the matter of Oz's feature-length documentary that might prove to be the final nail in Blair's corporate casket.
So it's still developing? Like, I don't know. So I don't see anything on his channel yet. It's just like normal videos. This one was only 3 months ago where he explained that he had to keep making normal videos. Well, we'll see. Yeah, that's terrible. Awful. But at least she's getting called out. At least she's getting repercussions. You know, that's the best thing that can happen, really. It sucks. I'm glad Oz Media is getting help as well. Yeah, I will leave the link to this video in the description. I might watch this video next. I'm kind of curious to see what he has to say. But until then, I'll see y'all later.